Welcome back to the Roots and Wings podcast, where we talk about all things early childhood, supporting families, building community, and finding the magic in everyday moments. I'm your host, Melanie Little, director of the Fox Hill School. Today, I am so excited to welcome Judy Gasinowski, director of Great Beginnings Learning School in Danvers. Great Beginnings is right down the street from the Fox Hill School, and Judy is actually one of the first providers I met when I moved to Danvers and started the Fox Hill School 30 years ago. So it is truly special to have her here. Judy has been in early childhood for an extraordinary 42 years. Great Beginnings is a year-round, full-day program serving working families, and they have built a remarkable reputation in this community. Judy, welcome to Roots and Wings.
Thank you.
Judy, let's start at the very beginning. How did you find your way into early childhood education, and how did Great Beginnings come to be?
It's funny when you think back on the journey. I remember babysitting children and usually large amounts of children and going to school and for art and saying, I'm never going to work with children. And then I somehow ended up working in a corporation, a very large one, and found out all the things I don't think you should do with children. I learned a lot, which was a good learning experience. I also worked in a place where many of the children were in protective services. So
Okay.
that also taught me another outlook of what I felt was important when I looked at opening my own school. I was very young, probably, still learning a lot of things and working like two jobs while I started to set up Great Beginnings back many years ago over on Elliott Street. And it was an interesting journey even from doing that. And I wanted it to be a cozy, homey, a little place where they could really learn and be happy together and do hands-on learning. So I somehow ended up still doing it and ended up having to move my facility, which is not a lot of fun.
No,
But,
I've done that.
right? It's not fun.
It's a lot.
And I was like thinking, I've only been in this building for, I don't know, 20 years. And I'm like, no, I've been here 27 years and 15 years at the other one. You're like, wow, when did that happen?
When you see your preschoolers driving by and getting married and starting jobs, it's crazy.
What's kind of strange is I had a dad sign up his daughter, and he went home and he said, Mom, boy, does that lady look familiar? And she goes, oh boy, you went to school there. You went
Oh,
the other one, So
the other one.
he didn't even know.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Yeah, it's I have next year I have my first Fox Hill student who's bringing her daughter.
Oh, isn't that strange? I've done it now, and it's like it still feels strange to me.
But it's so wonderful. It's so great that you've been in the community so long and trusted for so long. It's just it's truly an honor.
It is. It really
It's so great. I love that you get it.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like,
Oh my goodness. And obviously we cannot do it alone. So what can you tell me about the people who work alongside you?
It's funny because over the years, obviously I've had many people, but I've been very lucky to keep many of my full-time teachers for a very long time. I had one that worked for me 30 plus years that retired, actually two that just retired. And
Wow.
I'm really lucky of how much dedication and how they shared the vision and how hard they work. And the people that I have now also have been with me for a very long time. Maybe they left for a while to have children, then came back, which is such an honor that, hopefully I'm doing something right if I can keep my people.
Right.
But you always worry every day, like, how long can you keep these wonderful people?
I
Because
know.
that's really the essence of what's going on every day are the people that are teaching. And,
100%.
that I'm so lucky that they're all very talented. They really understand children and they really care about what they do. And it's tough because when I do look for new teachers or new aides or floaters, I find it very disheartening to see what's out there sometimes. People that maybe should not ever be in this field. So
Very scary. Very
Very,
scary.
very scary.
But good that you have a great team and
Yes.
that you can depend on and
Yeah.
all share your vision.
Yeah. Thank
Makes
goodness. Thank goodness
makes
for that.
yes, makes the difference.
It really does.
So, you've earned some wonderful recognition from the community. Tell us about why people think you are the best of the best, which I noticed the other day.
Isn't that fancy?
It is so
I got
fancy.
my fancy plaque again, and it's like
Oh, no.
17-year winner. I'm like, what happened the other years?
Wa Wow.
I
Yeah,
don't think
wait a
they
minute.
had
Where's
that.
my 42?
Wait, I need 42. Okay, really? I I don't know what it is about it. Maybe because we're kind of like a family and so small, and that people over the years really do value that personal touch, I hope. It's very nice that they, vote for us, and I think that's so sweet because I know there are many wonderful places out there. So it is an honor, and it really is. It really
It's
is.
so great. I
Yeah.
love it. So tell me about the families that you serve. Who comes to Great Beginnings and what are they looking for?
You know, it used to be that I noticed that people would come from many different towns. And I still have that. Boxford, Georgetown. Maybe they work in this area, and of course, a lot of the people are in the Danvers, Beverly area, and they are looking for full time in most cases because of their work schedules.
What is your full time?
So I have like 5 days full time and 3 days or 2 days. And we're open 7:30 to 4:30. And I do know that parents often are needing even more hours.
Yeah.
We used to be open later,
Okay.
before COVID.
Yeah.
And
Us too.
I found it a challenge to go even more hours than I do because, we do work long, long days. But I
Yes,
know that it's a struggle for working families
it
to
is
to
true.
find something that they're really comfortable with, that offers, great care and hopefully great education, but also meets their needs for traveling, to get to work. So I I think they're all struggling. The economy is pretty bumpy right now, and I feel nervous for them and, as they try to navigate the expense of childcare for their children.
Absolutely. Absolutely. One thing that I noticed, you're one of the few programs in our area to offer a food program. Tell us what that entails and why it's so valuable for the families.
It's funny, when I first started out, I thought that was very important, and I don't think I was the best cook. But now children are so sweet, they'll say, "You're the best cooker in the whole wide world."
The
Like,
best cooker.
I'm making dino nuggets and pasta, it's not fancy. But the parents seem to say that they're so rushed in the morning as working parents, and they're lucky if they can get any breakfast food even into their child. So the
Mhm.
child comes in and they can have cereal and a cereal bar and some milk. So that's like a breakfast kind of snack. Their
Okay.
lunch is a full, there's a main entree, a vegetable, a fruit, and they're so happy to have that available. And I think too that they tell me some children are very finicky
Yep.
because they eat the same thing together in a family style environment. They do seem to end up eating, trying more foods, eating more things.
Yeah.
And then the parent will provide an afternoon snack and a water.
Okay.
So I think it takes a little bit of stress off their very busy lives.
100%.
And some kids tell me I don't eat vegetables, and all of a sudden they're eating vegetables for me. So
Right.
I'm like,
Yeah.
why?
Go figure.
Win
And then the
win.
parents are probably saying, "Why won't they eat vegetables at
Yes,
home if they eat vegetables at school?"
exactly.
But at least they have some. Who knows?
But it is a lot of work. You gotta go shopping, you gotta cook it, you gotta, make sure that you're following all the right procedures. I have a serve safe license, so I have a mini restaurant.
Oh, wow. Wow. On top of a whole
Everything else.
program,
Yeah,
that's such an added benefit.
yeah.
Wow. So the Fox Hill School is a preschool only program, so just children 2.9 to 5. Great Beginnings offers programs for infants through preschool. And you mentioned you're fielding a constant stream for infant care. What advice can you give new parents who are starting their search for infant care?
I definitely think that they have to search very early and they have to put their name out everywhere and look at
Okay.
all their options because the home daycare is a choice, a
Yep.
center is a choice. Do you want a large center? They will offer you more hours, maybe more flexibility, sometimes in a schedule,
Hmm.
but make sure you go and search them before you even decide.
Yeah.
And then there's always the nannies. I know that there's nanny sharing out there. There's so many different things. Some people, add the family and the piece, maybe the part time with the family or friends, part time at a school. I feel bad because there is not a lot out there for infants,
Yeah.
really. And like you mentioned, I get calls constantly,
Hmm.
emails constantly. People are so desperate for infant care, and we're only able to take a couple infants at a time because we're a very small school, and the ratio for infants is, obviously very small. And I think money wise, a lot of centers feel that they don't make a lot of money on infants,
Right.
but it is very much a need, and I love them. They're
Right.
wonderful,
I know.
right?
I miss my infants when I had them at my first school.
Right?
But yes, it's a double-edged sword because Massachusetts has such high teacher student ratios for infants 1 to 3.
True,
So, and it just becomes expensive, and
true.
there's not a lot of
Mm,
ways for parents to counteract that
yeah, yeah,
expense. So,
it
but
is.
good to know to look early. And
Yeah.
do you have a wait list, or how does that work?
Yes, I have pages and pages of wait lists, and
Oh
then
my
I feel
goodness.
bad because then they're like a toddler or a preschooler sometimes,
Ah.
and I'll get the preschooler and they'll be like, "Can I get the other one in now?" So yes, there is a
Oh, there
little
we go.
wait list, but
Okay.
obviously people have to find something and, wait lists are tricky because before you know it, you call people, they've obviously had to make other
They've grown. Yep. Oh, so early, early, early
really, really.
is the
Well, this is
advice.
kind of a sad story, but I had a parent tell me, "So when can I get pregnant?" So that I can
Yes.
be on
Let
the
me
list. I'll be ahead of everybody. I'm like, "Oh, geez, that's a lot of pressure."
right. When is this going to work out? Oh my goodness. The struggle is real.
It's
The
real.
struggle is real. Oh my goodness. Well, I think that you and I have similar ideas about the importance of play. Tell us about the curriculum at Great Beginnings and how you think about what children should be doing and learning during their time with you.
Yes. You know, Play to me is the most important way for children to learn and to get the social skills. So, you know, as much as, we offer a very diverse program because there are diverse learners and we offer so many wonderful hands-on learning and, we have a theme often each week and, we definitely provide many learning opportunities. But to me, the most learning occurs when they're playing. And you watch them and all the different choices and all the different areas. And that's when they're experimenting, they're talking with each other. Maybe they need your assistance on how to share and take turns or express themselves. And that really is the most important thing. Watching the joy that they have when they're with each other. And if we are going to do, there is a balance of structure and play.
Of
And that
course.
is important too to build their attention and be able to focus and, follow directions and, offer them many choices. Because some children really enjoy, sitting down and learning and doing certain activities. But the most important thing is their play. And we do a
Agreed.
multi-age classroom, so they're all at
Oh,
different levels.
yep.
So that can be an interesting thing to watch, They're
Absolutely.
characters watching them all, figure it all out.
Absolutely. I love we have mixed age groups as well,
Good.
but just within preschool, and it's just so it
Right.
makes it they're more like a family than a class.
Don't you think? Like, I have a little girl who's gonna be graduating this year, and whenever a new little one starts, if they're the younger one, she's so nurturing to them, and it she seems to find confidence in doing it and how much it helps the other children, and,
Yeah,
so I really like the multi-age, so it is cool.
100%. Yeah. That's great. I love it too. And in early childhood, we have so much that we are required to provide, like the curriculum, the safety, the structure. And once that's all in place, we like to find ways to layer in something extra or like the fun stuff. What does that look like at Great Beginnings for enrichment or extra things?
I'm definitely all about adding extra fun. Ask any of my teachers, like, oh God, here goes Judy. I come in,
Same.
they're like, okay, you got to tone it down. I'm like, "Good morning," like, I don't know. That's how I start my day. Everything should be fun to me, but so
Exactly.
there is a lot of enrichment. So I have a wonderful lady who does yoga and she centers it around the children, maybe even the themes. She has wonderful book at the end and then she asks them these deep questions. It's amazing. We
Oh,
have a
that's
musician here in town who he's amazing. He comes in and I think they love him because of his sense of humor, because
yeah.
he sings this hot, hot tea song and they just think that's the best thing in the world, so that's important. In the summer, I have a lot of extra programs because I want to make sure that they're having fun that way too. So, we have bubble parties, we have coastal creatures coming in, we have rainforest reptiles. Oh, I have the most amazing puppet show I have ever seen. I'm just amazed by this guy. He's so
Oh,
talented. And I could go on and on all the
yeah.
different places. But over the years, I found ones that I'm like, yeah, no, we don't want that one anymore. But and even if it's not an enrichment, the teachers will also find ways to make transition fun. So they're going to have this music that the children relate to, like the tootie tala toot. There's
Oh, yeah.
that one is hilarious.
That one's
There are some
hilarious.
really hilarious transitions, and the kids, they get crazy for a little bit, and then you calm them back down,
Yep.
and hopefully they should have fun, you know.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, and on a bigger picture, in a world where so many programs are being absorbed into large corporations, Great Beginnings remains independently owned. Why does that matter to you, and what does it allow you to do differently?
You know, because I worked at a very, very large corporation, they from what I saw, they didn't seem to value their staff, did not seem to even have any idea of what children were about. I was amazed by that. It was about the bottom dollar. And I understand, you got to run a business also.
Right.
But to me, it was so important that it was like a cozy, homey, fun place where you could feel really comfortable. I had a parent come in for a tour and she goes, "Oh, you have such beautiful colors. They're pastel colors." I go everywhere and it's beige, it's institutional looking. And that kind of just feels so sad. And I said, I understand that. And then I actually had somebody recently join our team that worked in a large corporation. And she kept saying things like, wow, they don't do it that way, or, I really see that, we're involved more in the decision making. We're
Yeah.
involved more in all of it. And the support, I hope, is better. But, there's many great things about corporations, I'm sure. But to me, it's really been important. But I don't know how long the little man can continue to be,
Yeah.
I don't
We
know.
got to hang on.
We gotta hang and parents seem to value it
I
than
think
I
so.
find, but yeah.
Yep. Agreed. Agreed. Well, 42 years is a long time in any field.
Yeah.
What stands out to you as the most when you think about how things have changed or what has stayed the same?
I think about how the regulations have changed when I first started. I was in my 20s, I didn't know any of this stuff, but they really didn't have the rules that we have now.
Yeah.
It wasn't even called EEC, it was Office for Children,
Right.
and it was very different, and it was definitely a learning journey throughout it, but a lot of it was common sense to me too. I always thought, quality and, what was important to the children, that came easy. Maybe some of the regulations and the paperwork and all that good stuff, definitely continued to add on and on. I think I often say, did I change? A little. but I don't think I did that much.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
haven't even grown up yet. Um, and that's kind of a neat world to live in, isn't it? Every day
Yeah.
I go in, I don't know what's going to happen. It's always different. It's always lively and fun. And the way children are, it's a wonderful thing to be around. And I hope I never grow up. I hope I don't change that much, you know? So
100%. Is there anything that you know now that you wish you'd known at the start?
I don't really think so. I think the journey is so important in anything that we do that every day, like Great Beginnings Learning School, I call it that because I think learning never ends. And if it was to end, then that's not good.
Right.
Every day you learn something new and maybe enrich yourself. So to change that, it, no, because I look back and I don't like to, say, "Oh, I wish I did this or I wish I did that," because I think you learn from every bit of your journey, and I'm glad that life brought me this way. Who knew it was gonna do this? They
Absolutely.
don't have an exit plan, so I don't really know.
Right.
Yeah, so
Oh, it's amazing.
right?
And after all these years, what keeps you going? What still excites you about this work?
Every day, it's the children. I love how every one of them is an individual. The ways they share things with you, the things that they come up with, their sense of humor, their joy. I love watching them learn and grow. Maybe you have a child that maybe had some struggles and then you watch them, be more successful and that is so exciting, guiding, hopefully helping a family when they're not sure either,
Mhm.
working together as a team and having joy and saying, okay, what's another great new idea we can do? Oh,
Right.
what's another twist on the same theme? Let's try something new. How creative and fun is every day. So that keeps me going, and music. I love music.
Absolutely. And music. Music makes everything better.
Right? Like I'm driving to
Absolutely.
work. Okay.
Yeah.
And the music's blaring. I'm like, okay, I got this. Here we go.
That's amazing. Well, Judy, this has been such a wonderful conversation. 42 years of supporting children and families. That is a legacy. And I have no doubt for the thousands of children who have walked through your doors are better for it. For anyone listening who wants to learn more about Great Beginnings, you can find them at greatbeginningsschool.com. And I will put that in the show notes. Judy, thank you so much for being on Roots and Wings. It has been a true joy.
Oh, thank you so much. And thank you for all you do. And I always say, you guys, your school is an amazing school. And I
Oh,
know, I appreciate taking the time to
yeah, of
chat.
course. Yes, anybody that has an infant or a toddler, we always refer them or they need full days. And now if they need food, I will know to send them to Great Beginnings. That is fabulous. And to our listeners, if this episode was helpful, please share it with a friend and be sure to subscribe so you don't miss any future episodes. Together, we can strengthen our partnership between families and educators and help our children grow into confident, capable, and curious learners. Thank you, Judy.
Thank you.
I'm Melanie Little. See you next time.